Okay, second half we go. It seems like Exton's gonna come out instead of DM for ZSOL. So we're gonna see a Naiad coming out against a Gravekeeper Acrobat, Professor, and of course an Antiquarian. Now then, as we do see here as well, seems like the Gravekeeper is gonna be chased first here though, alongside with an Insolence Detention with one stack of Berserker, one stack of Rage, Mischievous, and of course Wanted Order. Now then, 60%. I'm gonna go a little bit more chill. 60% and an immediate moisture burst out here. I think it's really just with the fact that Zibby wanted to play around with the... He wanted to play around with the pads a little bit too much. Got a double abyss right there, and it doesn't seem like there'll be enough time for himself to use the shovel anymore. But here, as we do see as well, I feel like if he vault over that palace and then walked outside the abyss range, he definitely could have been able to get that shovel out. But I guess that's his choice there. Now the one dash coming on Z-Sense side, now immediately getting the harpoon back. A 70% moisture level, should be able to get out here, but it's currently a 1 blink down on the Gravekeeper with nothing remaining on his hands. And Acrobat wanted to support. But as well, it's really up to this shell. If you can shell shock a little bit early, and of course the Gravekeeper will be going down here. The Cypher Machines aren't enough. Yeah, I mean, GK was in middle, and then GK rotated towards 2-story, and then GK rotated towards Geisha, where Acrobat was decoding. So the Cypher Machine has been disturbed for quite a bit of time. I guess that's just the biggest problem here. GK also has no items left on his hand, and of course this is a max presence Naiad. It seems like Acrobat wants to come into support as well with the rescue. I guess at the end of the day, when you want to rescue against a Naiad, it's a bit hard when she's at max presence, as we do see as well. Antiquarian with 1. I don't think 1 is enough. As well as the fact that GK is still inside the moisture. Nostalgic on GK right now, doesn't know where GK is. GK can't run back in towards the graveyard anymore. I guess he'll be down here. Problem here is Antiquarian can't do much, because there's still Blink on the Naiad side, and they're still missing 2 full ciphers. Antiquarian also being on a half health, even though if you do Blink predict the flywheel, Naiad will just throw the harpoon out once again to burst you down. So I guess at the end of the day, I mean, 2 minutes 45 seconds into the game, 3 ciphers done is already good enough, but there we still have an Antiquarian currently here at half health. Naiad the Acrobat is going to come in. He's not going to rescue. The most what he's really going to do here is, you know... Honestly, yeah, the most what he's going to do is just to stay nearby. There's no point, honestly, there's no point for him to come in at all right now. Because we're missing 2 ciphers, we're having the Professor healing the Antiquarian, and even if you do come in to rescue, you don't have Tide. It's only the GK that has Tide here. So it's not going to be worth it getting yourself to half health and then a GK who's basically no item down. Yeah, he can't rebound kite. GK can't rebound kite, which is the biggest problem right there. And then triple survivors at full health right now. This is their best choice to go for a tie. It really depends on who the second containment will be here, as we do see here as well. The Antiquarian is who has stopped decoding, and of course the Professor, who's currently running towards the back of 2-story right now. With Naiad here just throwing out the harpoon should be enough for her. I mean, even if Professor wants to rotate around here, it's just gonna end up as another huge puddle, considering the fact that Naiad still does have 2 dashes left on her hands. But I mean, this abyss probably won't connect anymore, and that dash didn't connect as well, sadly. At least good news for... Oh, Professor already used Shell Shock. There's one more chance for Shell Shock, vaulting over it immediately right there. Very hands done by the Professor, but of course, it was a 50%. I think it was a double 50% moisture right there. Immediately, a little bit unfortunate, and also quite a fast 50% burst. But I guess at the end of the day, even though you failed that pallet mine game, it probably would be better if you didn't fail it, just because, you know, just take a normal hit and then the cipher will of course immediately be popped. Now you're just forcing your survivors, one of them to come over to rescue and another one who has to decode. I guess at the end of the day, we did the harpoon. No, why is the harpoon out? No. The harpoon should have been. Oh, nearly got hit by the tramp there as well. Knight here has to be able to land her dashes, or else it would be really bad. Misses the first one right here, as we do see as well. At least the good news for the hunter is the fact that the knight and the acrobat, both of them opens the gate pretty darn slowly. We do see the acrobat is trying to rotate towards the graveyard gate right now here, as we do see as well. But for Professor right here, what he has to do is he needs to dodge these. He needs to dodge this. He really does need to dodge this, but he also needs to save his flywheel. Okay, very nicely done, successfully dodging that one as well, putting the pallet down, as we do see as well. Where's the harpoon deciding to pop immediately right here? There is no more water moisture on his side, but the flywheel did not come out. But it seems like the shell shock decided to come out first instead, which is pretty darn nice. It's really up to High to contain here for a little bit longer. Vaulting over here immediately gets the 50% moisture burst. But it doesn't really matter at that point anymore, because I still have flywheel on my hands, and even if you do want to come in and blink me down, it wouldn't really happen. We're gonna see the flywheel, but the flywheel is a bit too early right there. At least I mean, Naiad only has blink, Naiad doesn't have teleport, so even if Naiad saves the teleport right there, it should be a guaranteed tie right here. So let's congratulate X-Chen for getting Chen-Tun, I don't know, X-Tung for getting his tie, moving on towards second half. There's no way they're going to come into rescue. It's too risky right here. Okay, on to second half we go. It does seem like Naiad is going to come out with a Clerk this time, alongside with a Window Vault record on her hands. Inspecting on Mansion Cypher right there, but sees where the Entomologist is, decides not to chase after anymore. Ento's also not going to play Mind Game with you, but it does seem like Naiad thought that she was actually going to come over. A little bit of an unfortunate situation here for Naiad losing her target, but once again looking towards, inspected the lock cipher. I think that was a mistap right there. Probably the direction was a little bit off, but we do see her as well. QG decided not to decode anymore, who is the anti-current. I feel like even if QG decides to stay there, she definitely could have been able to, you know, just stick on the cipher regardless. But if it's the case of wanting to save as much, you know, staff and so much fluid as possible, that's not a bad choice. But seeing Shelby here running towards the back of Mansion, standing at that side, at least on Clerk's side, she does know that she recorded her own hit, just with the fact that she wants to get rid of the bees. Now, knowing that as well, it does seem like our Entomologist is going to take the chip herself. I mean, that's actually a very, very smart choice from the Ento right there, because instead of giving two chips, instead of giving two hits on the bees, the Entomologist decides to give one hit and then immediately taking back the... She took back her swarm, so that was not two hits, that was only one hit right there. But I guess it's just a little bit more unfortunate that Ento did utilize quite a lot of bees early game right here. We do see that he's gonna not use it anymore, just because of the fact that she can dash in, but the blink missing right here should still be able to get it back. I mean, we can count that as not a failed blink, but also a pretty darn late hit. Now then, another chip scroll right there. This probably... No, anti-current is coming in. Stop. We're not gonna have a stop. We need to stop just here. But also, Entomologist successfully dodging that one. Anti-current couldn't do it. Just barely enough. Anti-current can come harass here for as long as possible, to consider the fact that she did finish her cipher. Entomologist right here can get off the bees right now. Now, off the bees, Anti-current still does have two more. Has one swing. I think she definitely has her stab ready now. It's been over 15 seconds. Then recording on towards that chip there once again. It's going to be really hard for Knight to do anything right here. The Entomologist, of course, picking up an elbow pad. The support here has been very nicely done. But of course, Ento knows that she has enough distance to use for herself as well. Decides to not vault over that window, sadly. But of course, gets a chip hit, which is a little bit more unfortunate. Ento... What's probably surprising is we did see that Knight did record herself vaulting over a window, but what we didn't, what the survivors didn't see, but what we saw instead, oh, successfully harassing down. That's miss hit, and I hit it. Wow. We're hardly gonna... Are we gonna take this home game 2 already? Oh my lord, if we're gonna take this home game 2 already. But it doesn't seem like Anti-Current has fluid anymore on her hands, but she does have a Window Vault buff there though, so that's not too bad. Decides to take the Window Vault buff and of course the Pallet Vault buff. Should still be able to make quite a huge distance between herself and the Anti-Current. But the problem here is the Entomologist still needs to be healed. It seems like Ento has finished her own cipher in Graveyard right now, which is a good sign, but the Anti-Current will be down. will be down. Seeing where Li Hua and Guan is right now, recording on towards the first officer here. Meanwhile, our toy merchant is also decoding as well at 54% right now. Xiaovi can either go and decode, or well, I mean, it's really up to them right now. It does seem like Clerk wants to stall as much time as possible. But also here, as we do see as well, first officer using the Poseidon watch to stall chair time right here. Should be able to use the watch until there's around 40% of progress on towards the chair. But right now, recording on towards the toy merchant, we do see that entomologist is starting a new cipher as well. Gets the hit on first officer. I think it's a little bit, I think it was not needed. I do not think it was needed to get the hit on first officer. It's genuinely just considering the fact that this antiquarian can't really contain anymore. There's no pallets nearby. Antiquarian cannot contain your S pallet. Antiquarian can't really do anything in general. Then I see where toy merchant is. Toy merchant looking at a chest right now, records on towards the first officer. Survivors has to be very careful here. It's because of the fact that we don't want a 99% cipher that will immediately get popped by Clerk. That's the biggest problem here. Now then, yeah, oh yeah, there's an invalid, never mind. There was an invalid. Survivors 96% cipher progress right there, as we do see as well. That was a forward. That was a forward scroll. My lord gets the immediate rescue right there, but it seems like we should be able to pop here. A little bit late on the pop, but blinking down. The elbow pad didn't come out. Oh no, the elbow pad didn't come out. This still does seem like a tie. The pop was a little bit later than we expected. It was a little bit later than we expected. Cause Clerk didn't reverse. Clerk forwarded her her cipher control record, whatever you call that, decoding record. But 5 minutes and 26 seconds into the game, entomologist here does have one elbow pad on her hands. So if anti-current can open, no, anti-current can't open the gate. That's also the problem. Anti-current is not on the field, that's why she can't. Sorry, toy merchant recording on towards toy merchant right there. Sees where first officer is as well. First officer has to be very careful here, but also toy merchant using catapult to fly away, question mark. But there's still a chance for first officer to get dungeon though, considering that he still does have one watch on his hands. Then the records on towards the gate right now. 10 seconds invalid, but because of the fact that entomologist is also nearby, simply just means that they either leave now or never. Now the records on the entomologist right now has nothing left on her hands, but first officer is forced back towards this direction. Still has one pocket left wash. He did have one left to use, but it didn't really land on towards the clerk. So it does seem like it will become a tie instead. Yeah, survivors doesn't really have anything left on their hands to use. You could argue toy merchant coming in, but I guess getting the pallet hit right there is very nice for Clerk. If that was a pallet stun, it definitely would have been 3-man. But let's move on towards game 3 then, considering this is a tie.